gappy on the left hand side there. Now when it's done that, it's not actually, the feeding mechanism isn't turning when it's moving quite quick like that. So I don't know what's going on there, to be honest. Like there, see how it's moving now? The feeding mechanism is not going now. The feeding mechanism is not feeding. Still not feeding. Still not feeding. Ah, it started feeding now. So it's almost like it's printing nothing. I'm going to leave this and we'll see what happens. Last time I tried to print this out, it started coming off the bed. This is, so it goes out folks there, this is like the thicker spring, the more torque spring, clockwork spring I'm trying to do. See, again there, stop feeding now. Not feeding, it's not, now it started feeding. And it stopped feeding now. And now it started feeding. So sometimes I think prints do need to do that, if they're moving like from one place to another and such like, but seem to be doing a lot of jerking about. Mind you, as you see, there's a lot of almost, well, virtually concentric, so it goes out folks there, concentric circles in this print. Not far off, it's a spiral. That it would have stopped feeding. Quite a gap from this left hand side, that's a skirt really. I have lowered the Z probe down a bit because the previous print I tried of this, it came off the bed. After a few layers, that is, it just started coming off the bed. This looks almost too thick actually looking at it. It's very thick. Well, when I say thick I mean the sort of, I don't know how to describe it, like the parts of the spring in a way. So this here is a previous sort of spring I did. I mean it works, but I've tried to thicken the sections here to give it more like torque, more power in a way. That's what I'm trying to do. Modified the file. I'm going to put this on time lapse just now. Right, 37 minutes into this print. I've asked for it to print at 15 millimeters per second in cover. That is pretty fast. As you can see, it is moving quite fast. It looks pretty good from what I can see, better than I expected. I'm asking for 100% on this part because I want it pretty solid. This is 0.2 layer height. I was thinking of doing it even finer than that, but that would increase this time of the print quite significantly doing that. Just let's see how this comes out. This is what I'm calling a more torque spring. Taking away, thank you. So you can see how thick the sections are there. I think it's got about another half hour or so to go. 49 minutes into this print now. zoom out so I can show you more and you see, well, might get a better idea how fast it's all moving at 50 millimeters per second. Should be finishing off pretty soon, I think, a couple more minutes. And there we go. Okay, the bed's had time to cool down. There we go. So you can see this is a lot. Oh yeah, it's come out pretty good. Oh yes, that's got a lot heavier spring than this previous one. This is, I mean, this is very lightweight. This one is much heavier, but I don't think it's going to be able to turn so many times because, as I say, as you tighten it up, it's almost like the coils squeezed together, and that's going to limit the number of turns. But I think that, if I remember correctly, I haven't used a model diesel engine for many years. You only need to kickstart a model diesel engine about half a turn, maybe a little bit more. And some model diesel engines do have springs on, that you can almost wind them up a bit on the, just behind the propeller and like a grip thing, and then when you let go it springs them round and gives them a kickstart. You just need to get over the sort of top dead centre to compress the fluid in the cylinder to get them going and started. As I say, might be a bit of a gap there. I think that might be just on the edge, because in the way this is like two of these put together, and well, there was a third one almost put together to make sure that they would join. Yep. Right, I'm going to do the main body again, because the previous model I did, the supports came off, and this hasn't come out well at all. It's pretty rough. I mean, I could tidy that up, but to be honest, I don't think I want to do that. It's pretty awkward to close out this hole where the pawl goes, but I'll see. Okay. This is the part I'm calling the main body. This is again at 50 millimeters per second. 20% infill on this one. 0.2 layer height. Don't tell me it's not laid flat. I'm sure I sorted out, it did this before where it wasn't laying flat on this side. I'm sure I sorted this out in the file. So I'm going to have to stop this print to see. It's doing supports there. So like this edge here is not flat on the bed. So there's a gap there, so it's doing supports for that gap. You see that? I'm going to pause the print and I'm going to get this laid flat. I think I must have had the wrong file actually, because I was sure I laid this flat and it looked like I had laid it flat when I checked out the file, or I hadn't loaded that file onto the SD card I'm printing on. So I was printing out the old file basically. So we'll have to see if this looks like it's going to be laid flat onto the bed or not just now. Seems to be laying flat, as I can tell up to now. I am asking for quite a fast speed on this print, 50 millimeters per second in curve. 0.2 layer height, 20% infill on this print. Supports touching the build plate. Say on this left hand side, on the previous print it was done like the sports. Now it seems to be doing a proper layer of plastic. Just let this get started, then I'll probably put it on time lapse. This is about a 1 hour and a half print, this one, 50 millimeters per second. So pretty flat. Yes, there is support. I needed support on this part. Okay, I'm going to pause the camera, I think. I don't know whether to pause it or put on time lapse. It's about an hour print, so I think I will pause it for about half an hour. Coming up to 23 minutes in this print. I just wanted to show you the speed. Put this little light on. 50 millimeters per second this. Cover. Moves pretty quick. Bit of a worry moving this speed. The moving that fast will cause any problems, but we'll have to wait and see. Now there is a bit of a curve on the bottom of this part when it's on the bed, so that's not part of the plastic curving or curling. That is part of the design. I like to give it a curved edge, that's okay. As I say, over this side on the left, that is supports to support the overhang, that's all okay as well. Let's have a look at all the printer here. Well, most of the printer. 50 millimeters per second. And you can probably see the Z moving. That's to move it up and down as it's printing. That's auto tramming, so if the bed's not level, it'll move the carriage up and down to allow for that. Obviously every so often it will move quite a bit to move the whole carriage up for the next layer. 0.2 layer height on this. So just trying to show you the Z carriage down there in the bottom left. It's only a small amount it's moving. which indicates that the bed is pretty level. Although this PEI sheet I've got on here was never laid down very well, it's got a few bumps in it. Okay, I think I'll pause the video a bit and I'll come back later on. 41 minutes into this print. That support on the left there looks okay at the moment. Say this is going pretty fast, 50 millimeters per second in cover. 0.2 layer height, 20% infill on this print. Supports touching the build plate only. See the right carriage moving quite a bit there. Well, our turn is quite a bit, it's about quarter of a turn almost, as it's done the auto tramming, that is. Level the bed, well it doesn't level the bed, it moves the carriage up and down to allow for any offset in the bed and such like. If you look at the reflections of the smooth rods in the surface of the PEI sheet, you'll see that there are some, well, it's getting distorted in a way, the reflections, so that shows you that this PEI sheet was never really laid down totally well by me. Very difficult to lay 200mm wide adhesive and then a PEI sheet on top of that, but it seems to print okay, generally speaking that is. Holding and feeding, using my feeding mechanism here, belt drive feeding mechanism. It's one of my big LEDs here. I do have a thermometer and a smoke alarm up there. I do recommend you have at least a smoke alarm somewhere near your 3D printer just for safety. I'm going to put it on the time lapse for a bit now. 1 hour 10 minutes into this print, and we can see that this support here hasn't come loose in the way it is supporting this overhang here. That's exactly what I wanted. The previous printer came off and it didn't come out too well underneath that overhang there. I estimate there's about another 3/4 of an hour, something like that. There you can see the supports there on the left, holding up that, well, supporting that overhang. I was going to say holding it up, but to a certain extent I had to hold it up. Looks okay to me, so far as I can tell. I'm going to pause the camera a bit and I'll come back in a few minutes. I'll show you the display. 60 on the heat bed, 200 on the nozzle. You see that's getting quite near the end here, 1.25 hours into this print. 100% speed on the fan. This is using my adjustable stand, LCD 12864. Printing off the SD card that goes inside there. This desk is a bit rocky here, so I mean this is adjustable, as you probably see there, within reason. Got reset button on, the control knob, everything works okay there. Let's have a look at the print. Main lights on for this. Oops. So it hasn't got long to go now, but I think I'll still pause the camera and come back when I think it's getting right near the end, if I can catch it there. And there we are, it's finished. Well, that was 1 hour 18 minutes. Yep, 1 hour 18 minutes. The bed still feels a little bit warm, like what we call lukewarm. Yep. See, that supports. There is like a peg thing on the bottom here as well, for an elastic band to go around the bolt that goes in this slot. So be careful not to grab that too much. That's just a basic clean up. It'll come out pretty well, as you can probably see there. So printing at that speed seems okay. This is a very small part. It's the pawl, it's what I'm calling the starter button. It's quite a quick print, being a small part. About a quarter of an hour maybe. It's very hard to see anything when you have a fan shroud on. So let me move this other light a bit. bit of plastic there, over on the left hand side a bit of ooze. Okay, I'm going to pause this video just now. It's coming up to 11 minutes now and it should be finishing off just now. There we go. So the previous ones I did of this had a sort of spring thing on, but that was problematic. If I made it thin enough to act as a spring, it wouldn't print out because it was less than a nozzle width of 0.4. It would print out the rest, would miss the spring off. If I made it thicker, then it wouldn't act as a spring. So this is a bit of a different design. It has a hole in for a bolt to go in, and that bolt will sort of go in this slot. Elastic band round, it might be hard to see it. Just let that finish off. Might be hard, but there is like a little bit of peg there, so the elastic band goes round this peg, hopefully, and round the bolt. That will push this pawl in, and that will grip on this sort of thing. I have this spring in here at the moment. See that it does spring. That's got a bit. This is the bigger, thicker spring, and it's got a little bit more tension. I need to clean out this hole before I can put a bolt in. Let's just give you an idea. Okay, let's have a look. This is with the heavier duty spring, the more torque spring, and it's not so good. Actually, just a minute, I'll go and get some bit of stuff to put on there, like a piece of paper to stick on here so we can see a bit better. Okay, it's just a bit of a dress label I've cut into a triangular shape. I'll show you, so I can turn it, but I can only turn it about that far. And yes, it works, and it's got a pretty decent amount of spring. I mean, I don't think that would probably, even with that thicker spring here, that it would be enough. And it's not going to turn enough. I'm really tightening that as far as I dare go here. I estimate about 1/8 of a turn there, quarter around here, half of that, about 1/8 of a turn. That's with that big spring, and also that when it's tightening up, I don't know if you can see actually inside this. This is for a bolt to screw into, like the lid part here. You might see that that is going out of line. So I'll take this one off. I'll put this thinner spring on. This will certainly not be strong enough, but it's just to see if it turns more. So I'll just show you the two springs. So this is a lighter weight one. Let's see, it's quite flimsy in a way. Let's do this. And this is, oh, it's too strong. Obviously, maybe you could get an in between one. You can probably see the difference there, how thick the heavier duty, more torque one, as I call it, compared with this lightweight one. We'll see through that one actually in some parts. So I'll put this inside here and we'll see if it turns more. Right, also trying to fit this onto this central part here was a lot more difficult than fitting this one on. Okay, this is with the thinnest spring in, and you can see I can wind it up much more. Oops, I think that's unclipped. I haven't got the bolt in here. Yeah, right. Okay, that jumped out there. That was good fun. I won't probably, well, I'll just turn it like that. That is, yeah, no, it's not springing there. I think you can see that this will generally turn much more. As I say, the coils of the spring almost move closer to each other as you're tightening it up. So there's not, and that stops it turning. I'll put the bolt in here and we'll see if it's even, that spring is strong enough to turn it with the bolts in. I think this hole could do with making it a little bit bigger actually, but we'll see. Okay, I've just sort of put this 6mm bolt in. I've put that nut on there so I can adjust it. I don't think I have a bolt the right length really. It's a little bit out of line, you might see there with the edge. Yeah, that is the way I would turn it now, I think. I tend to have this bolt pretty loose. See, it's unhooking inside, hear that? I could do a bit of adjustment. So the idea would be to wind it up like that. It'd be on the ratchet on the pawl. You pull the pawl back and then it unspins without pressing against the propeller, against the model diesel engine. Catching my finger on it. Really just want a plate or something like round here so that you can't put your fingers too far forward of this edge. But that's just the basic idea there. Just prototyping. See, it's a little bit, I think that's a little bit out of line there.